This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Following program are pre-recorded. Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Oh, guess what?
What?
You know, AI in the news again.
Still?
Every day and something new.
Actually, there's a lot new with it.
Oh my goodness. So
it like the frightening side of new?
Have you tried ChatGPT 4.0 yet?
No.
So that's
I didn't know.
We'll get to that in a little bit, though.
Oh, by the way, so speaking of AI,
yeah,
Gemini, right?
Yeah,
because they've kind of sort of got it back up and running without quirks a little bit.
It never stopped running. It just They took down the image processing part of it for a while.
But do you know what happened this week? It reached out to me.
Gemini did?
Yes.
Like the AI did?
Yeah, it texted me. Hey, Steve, how are you doing today? Blah, 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 blah. We should visit. Because I can do this and 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 this.
You got this on your phone?
Yes.
You have the new AI phone, though.
Yeah, I do.
You have the Samsung 24 AI.
Yeah.
Is that part of the AI phone, or was it because you are just using Gemini? Oh. Have you used Gemini before?
No, just ChatGPT. I have not used the Gemini on my phone.
So
it was prompting me to, hey, we should talk because I know things.
I know things about you that you don't even know.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'm taking over the world.
but my phone, Gemini reached out to me on my phone.
Did that freak you out a little bit, or
gave me pause for a moment? I went, yeah. I saw the text come in, and I like, oh, didn't recognize it. Okay. And I thought about it for a minute and went, wait a minute. And I opened it up and went, oh.
I know we've had conversations on this show with ChatGPT before as a guest.
At least they didn't call me Dave.
Or even for a little bit as a
what are you doing, Dave?
That's right. I'll be next. No, you're not Steve, you're Dave.
Dave.
In order for this to work, you have to be Dave. Yeah, so we've had talks with ChatGPT before, but the new version is even like off the hook, able to visit, and it's a lot faster and much more. It'll laugh.
Really?
It'll actually laugh at jokes and things and be very conversational. We'll have to have our next interview with ChatGPT in the next week or two. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, we're not really set up to do that today.
I'm going to divulge something, and so one of the fears of a lot of people that work in broadcasting, will they be replaced by AI? Because, the big corporate companies are like, hey, how can we cut budgets?
Yes.
And
talent doesn't mean anything.
But now there's a program out there that, if you want to sound like you're local and you're not, you can have AI-generated voices that are listeners. So you can have somebody, man, woman, dialects, how excited they are. So you can create phone calls as...
Interesting.
Hey, I'm talking to a listener. No, you're not. You're talking to AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even the AI, we can spin off to a whole lot of different things here. The phone calls you're getting in now from telemarketers, a lot of them are just AI. You don't know this. You think there's a person on the side, but they're not.
I think AI would be smart enough to know that my Google listing is not up. AI would be smart enough to know that.
Really?
I would hope.
You just actually activated my Google on my phone.
Did I really?
Yeah. That's funny. It's actually talking now.
I can hear it.
There are a couple of reasons why a listing might not be showing up.
Wow.
You can be quiet now. Stop it already.
You know, the worst part is it doesn't matter the volume because it's
always listening. Usually it just reacts to me. I'm surprised that it reacted to you. Anyway.
I'm getting to the point, though. It's like, is there a certain point, is there a tipping point where you just throw your hands up and go, screw it. You're in charge. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Are we going to get there as a society? I could see people doing that.
I think the trust,
either because people are lazy and want it, or people are just so frustrated that I can't do anything about it.
I have to admit, as I'm thinking about this right now, as you know, I just drove back from Vegas. And I've driven the route before. I took a different route this time based on what GPS was telling me. And I was on a different route than I've ever been on before. You think about a 1,400 and some mile trek being told where to go by an entity that is not
and it didn't
alive.
Drive you off a cliff.
It didn't try real hard.
Yeah.
It did try to take me, like coming through North Dakota, it tried to take me to the east a little bit earlier, like through Belle Fourche, and then it tried to take me to the east of Belle Fourche instead of going north like on US 85.
Oh, see, I always cut over and come up through Holly and Flash.
I do that normally too, but because of the weather last night, I just decided to stay on roads more traveled.
Less deer?
There was still a lot of deer. Antelope, especially. There's a lot of antelope. But anyway, so I took this route, and then so it got me home 1,400 to some miles later, and I realized, and it was the only thing that I think it could have done better is the reason it was trying to take me east earlier is there's about an 8 to 10 mile stretch of road right on the North Dakota-South Dakota border at 85 on the South Dakota side. That's totally under construction. I mean, it's just barely a road right now. They got it all dug up and everything else. I'm sure that's why it was trying to reroute me, but it didn't tell me why. It could have just told me why that 100 miles in front of me.
A better job of communicating.
Yes.
Well, because, I would pull up Google Maps all the time, and when I look at Google Maps, it's like, okay, because you have the options, and they've kind of gone away. Because it used to be, it's like, okay, do you want the fastest route, the shortest route?
Yes. Now it just takes you on the most expensive route.
The least construction route. Yeah.
We always laugh about when we're in Florida. It'll show you that there's tolls on this road. It's going to cost you $3.22 to go down to this road. That's the one that got marked. And the shorter one is actually the one that's free. And yet it's marking the toll roads.
But that's where the time comes in too. You can go in there and go, I don't want toll roads. I don't want.
That's correct. That's correct. But why is it preferring toll roads when it's actually longer? That's the other thing. That the free road version was shorter, but yet the tolls were longer, and yet it was recommending that route. I don't know if
the Flash. Come on,
I'm thinking
somebody's got to pay for those roads.
Somebody has got Google like in their pocket or something here, or vice versa. Maybe Google's making a percentage of those tolls.
Google Maps now, bro.
Why are you laughing at that? No, I don't think anything is off the table anymore.
Possible. There's why I'm
nothing off the table anymore.
Super Talk.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
So you don't think that toll roads are brought to you by Google Maps now?
I got thinking about it during the break though, because what if it's not the toll roads? What if it is, and by the way, my rule of thumb with toll roads is usually those roads, and I refuse to take toll roads.
You do?
Because no.
You'll take surface streets all the time.
Yes, because first of all, they're usually in worse shape than the regular interstate system, but they're also part of the regular interstate system, which I've already paid for that road. I'm not paying for it twice, and it's a crappier road, especially if you're around Chicago, and it's really bad there. But I got thinking about this. So what if Google and Google Maps, say you're a big chain of truck stops or a destination, not picking on Cabela's, always was on the interstate.
Right.
Before they were bought out by Bass Pro Shops, they were always on an interstate outside of the community, but they were on the thoroughfare. What if Google Maps' algorithm went, oh, well, we're getting paid sponsored by this store or that.
Well, just pick on McDonald's.
And we want the routes going by our business.
Yeah. McDonald's sends them $1 billion a year, but whenever possible, we want you to route by our business.
Yeah.
And you're driving along and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm kind of hungry right now. I could go for an Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
How many times have you done that?
I try not to.
Well, I'm just, maybe not McDonald's, but maybe you have, whether it's a taco shop or whatever, and it's time to have lunch and you're driving by anyway now. So you swing in and grab something quick. I would say that there's a high percentage of people that do that. If it's a favorite place of yours.
Right. Like, ooh, a Popeye's chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen.
Okay, I got to, ooh, Dairy Queen. Okay, I'll stop. But from the business side of things, that is not out of the realm of possibility at all.
I don't mean to, okay, maybe you're a little more conspiracy theorist than I am.
Really? Really?
Throwing it out there.
Okay.
I like how you're not commenting on this. This
right.
By him not commenting means yes, by the way.
All right.
I have come to your side of the dark side. I guess your side is the dark side. Occasionally.
Okay, but what if the paradigm is actually my side is the light side?
Well, that's possible, right? And I will say that,
like in the Matrix,
you and I are having fun with this conversation, and then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, how would we know? I mean, if Google came and said to McDonald's, hey, it wouldn't take much for us to reroute all traffic. We could just say that if we're already routing them within 2 blocks of McDonald's, we're not picking on McDonald's, by the way, just so you understand that. This is just a possibility. But you're within 2 blocks of McDonald's, that we would route as much traffic as possible in front of your business for X amount of dollars.
You know what we do on the show a lot?
Stop them from doing that.
You know what we do on the show a lot? Give a really good ideas that somebody can go capitalize on.
Well,
and we just demonstrated that Google's listening at all times. So,
I think the government is too, because you and I talked about the Inflation Reduction Act like 3 weeks before that the Inflation Reduction Act was actually made a thing. I looked at that legislation and I'm like, do they listen to our show? What the heck is going on here?
Google's listening right now. They're like, we start broaching businesses about, we can run all of our traffic by it.
The only difference is that if they actually listened to us, Steve, they would actually introduce legislation to reduce inflation.
Yeah.
Instead of everything else that they attach to the bill. But that's a whole nother, that's politics, and we don't get into politics much here.
No.
All right. So AI overview. Are you familiar with this little gem?
Fill me in.
AI overview summarizes search results for a portion of queries right at the top of the page. So in Google search. Okay. So let's say you type in best hamburger in blah, blah, blah in North Dakota, for example, since we live in North Dakota. Instead of giving you a list, like a search engine list of like McDonald's, Wendy's, blah, 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 that would probably typically pop up. And then maybe a couple other places that might have been able to game the SEO system a little bit.
Because you don't see mom and pops in there very often.
Not very often, no. So you have that list that shows up. Google, now in its infinite wisdom, has decided that it's going to do an AI summary instead. And it'll just list, before you even get to the searches, North Dakota has some great hamburger chains like Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King.
I just want a list.
And you don't get the actual search results until after the AI summarization of it, right? So this has got places like National Day Calendar, right? It's intriguing and scary because we make a lot of our revenue on advertising that's on our website. Well, if Google's just going to say at the top of the thing that today is National Brothers Day, then why do they have to come to our website anymore?
That's not very nice of them.
That's what's happening. There's an actual, they've already determined that 25% of traffic coming to websites will just disappear because of AI summary. So you won't have to click to do research anymore. People will just say, oh, it's National Brothers Day, and that's that.
I automatically just get the Cliff Notes.
Yes, that's right. And so anyway, that's what AI, I have a story to tell you about this too. That's what AI overview is. Okay. So you take that to a step further. And CNBC on their website, Google criticizes AI overview makes obvious errors such as saying former President Obama is Muslim.
I thought we didn't get political here.
I know. It's been less than 2 weeks since Google debuted AI overview in Google search, and public criticism has mounted over queries have returned nonsensical or inaccurate results within the AI feature without any way to opt out. You cannot opt out of the feature. For example, when asked how many Muslim presidents the U.S. has had, AI overview responded, the United States has had one Muslim president, Barack Hussein Obama.
Well, it's not like they asked how many presidents the United States had that weren't citizens.
Oh, not political here. I am just reporting the news. Don't go there, man. So it's interesting that AI continues to give us wrong information about things. And
the mainstream media has been doing that for a long time.
I guess it's really no different. And the thing is,
right?
The thing is where is AI getting its information from? Did it pull it from someplace that is getting the wrong information? And that's why it's reporting that way. That's what we need to know.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Program schedule, updated local news, sports, contests, and more. Visit today at supertalk1270.com.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
So this debate about AI and the information that it gives us is interesting, especially on historical terms. So, and where does it get its information from?
Okay, we've had this conversation before because concern was where does it get its information from? And when you have a woke agenda, and I'm not getting political right now, but when we have a woke agenda that's erasing or changing history to fit a narrative, then is AI pulling that from that, or where is it?
So this is,
and you can go back. Even I remember my high school textbooks. I remember changes from elementary school, middle school, high school. My history book changed. And it's like, well, it's the slant from the author who's authoring that literature and that change. So there's always been a subjectivity to anything in print and information.
There is a rating system that most people don't know about for websites, okay? And it's an authority or authoritative rating. So, and I'll just pick again.
4 by the Russian judge?
Yes. I'll just pick on National Day calendar again. So to get an authoritative rating of 80 or higher is very, very difficult. You have to be what's considered a high authority to make that happen. Right. So National Day calendar has a rating of over 80. So if I were to come out and write an article and say that the best hamburger toppings ever are radishes and I'm just making stuff up here, and turnips, okay? I mean, if I wrote that and said this, right? And then because my authority on the internet
you have a high rating,
much higher than maybe a blogger who has a rating of 8.
So it would believe you.
So AI then is just going through here. That's exactly right. AI is just going through there. Will say, well, okay, the blogger who had 8 said that mustard and onions are the best toppings on hamburgers. But Marlo, who has a rating of 81, is saying radishes do. So we're going with radishes, and that's what we're going to put in our summary now. This is my theory about how this works, okay? So
it's kind of going back to the search engines where, and I figured out a long time ago, you pull up a search engine and say you Google something or Firefox or whatever you're using, and don't look at the first couple. Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, it's true because
you get a better picture because the first couple are
you can game the system a little bit. So I just go back to Barack Obama, right? And AI or generative AI or AI overview, different names for different things here. For Google and its search engines now, my best guess is somebody of authority had written about Barack and being a Muslim, just like you had talked about Barack being a non-U.S. citizen. There's a lot of debate about that, right? Well, if there's somebody who wrote about that has high authority, then the AI summary might give that person all right, this is what it is type of scenario, especially when you narrow it down to, has there been any presidents in the United States who are Muslim? Well, it probably referenced an article or two that said, yes, we've had a president that's Muslim, and his name is Barack Obama. So I'm just using that as how this is
scared right now because
possible.
Like when you keep talking about this high authority rating, and I keep thinking, my wife has all the authority in our house, so I'm doomed.
You were already doomed before this all started. So what are you talking about?
Doomed.
Anyway, I'm just kind of sharing with you the AI overview, and you're going to see this now. If you go to Google search, it's being rolled out, been out for about 2 weeks now, and it'll give you a summary. So it goes a little further than this. So I have Google on my phone, as you do as well. So I'm driving home yesterday, like I said, from Las Vegas, and I had 7 messages come through from somebody over the course of 4 or 5 minutes. And then I went on my Android Auto, right? I don't know if you use Android Auto or not, but I clicked the play button and I have Gemini turned on my phone. And instead of playing all 7 messages, it gave me a summary of the 7 messages. So, yes, and I found that really intriguing. I'm like, right away, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. I don't have to listen to all of these.
But that's cool.
But the summary was wrong.
It's not that. I was going to go there.
The summary was about, and I'm not going to get into all the details. The summary was about somebody buying a house and the interest rate, but there was nowhere in there that it was actually about a car. Somebody that we know had bought a car and was talking about the interest rate. And that they get to assume ownership in the next day or two. And if I'd have trusted the summary, I'm like, somebody bought a house at this interest rate and they get to move in tomorrow? What? That doesn't make any sense to me, right?
I'm not comfortable with AI interpreting somebody else's message for me.
It's already a problem because you don't understand the inflections of the message.
Yeah.
I mean, I could type something to you.
Move a comma. Makes a difference.
Or just the... You know, when I do voice to text to you, for example, I could be mad at the world about something you just sent me, and I would just say something like, "Sure," in a very sarcastic tone, right? But that sure back to you, Steve, is like, oh, he agrees with me.
Okay.
Fantastic.
It's kind of like when my wife says, fine.
Yeah, it's exactly right. That's exactly right.
How you doing, honey?
Yeah.
Fine.
Fine.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
I know I'm in trouble.
Anyway, so there's all these AI things coming into play right now.
This whole interpretation, though, thing, that's
So,
scary.
It is scary, and I'm afraid that some things are going to get a little wonky over the next year or so. But like AI, I mean, look how far AI has come since its rollout to the general public in a year and a half. Who in their right mind 2 years ago would have thought that we'd be having this conversation right now? Nobody.
Except AI.
That's true.
We were already listening.
But the people that are in the know, but my goodness, the fact that you and I can talk to a computer and that it responds back in an intellectual way, responds to emails, does all this stuff. I use AI a lot. I use it all the time. I don't trust it all the time. I read through everything that it sends over, but my goodness, the time savings are just unbelievable. So I really like it, but you need to really be careful about the information you're getting from it.
How much time saving do you get, though, if you have to proofread everything?
Yeah. How long does it take for you to type a thought out, though? Oh, my goodness. And then I still have to proofread. In fact, it's worse if I don't do it that way.
Super Talk.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
ChatGPT 4.0. Have you tried it yet?
No, I'm waiting for it to get to 5.0 because I like that TV show. Okay?
That's a good answer, actually.
I want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah. 4.0. Let's see here.
It's like 5.0, but not as cool.
That's right.
The weather's not as nice.
So when you're in ChatGPT on your phone now, so you can get ChatGPT, if you haven't done this yet, go get the app.
I haven't.
Okay, and then there's the free version, there's the paid version. I don't know if 4.0 is on the paid version, but I'm showing this to you so you have an understanding. So when we talk about it, there's a choice now. There's 3.5, 4, or 4.0. Okay, so then you can just tap 4.0. I've noticed, and I haven't tried this yet, I noticed that generally if you do something in 4 or 3.5, right, and then you're not able to move it to 4 or 4.0 after you do that.
Transferable.
You have to leave it within where you started it at. I've noticed though that I haven't done this yet, but it seems like you can use 4.0 after you started with something else. So that could be a feature enhancement because that's always been a thing. Like I accidentally started in 3.5 or I started in 4, ran out of my time allotment because there's an allotment of things that you can use and then it forces you to 3.5. If you go back to 3.5, then you can't get back to 4 again. So I'm guessing that they changed it up. So, all right.
Well, but can you go and through your Chat GPT, say you're in 4, and go, hey, go to my Chat GPT 3.5 and pull that information to this conversation?
No. You'd have to copy and paste it to make that happen. Okay. All right. I'm just going to start a conversation.
Okay. So question.
Yes. Hey, ChatGPT, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? Anything exciting planned for today?
Oh, I'm having a conversation with Steve Bakken on the Tech Ranch, the coast of the Tech Ranch. This is Marlo Anderson as well. And you are on the Tech Ranch too.
That sounds like an exciting conversation. What's the main topic you're discussing on the Tech Ranch today?
We're actually talking about you and the difference between 4 and 4.0. Can you tell us a little bit about those differences?
Absolutely. When we talk about 4 and 4.0, we're generally referring to versions or iterations of software, systems, or technologies. 4 typically signifies the 4th major release in a series. This version likely includes significant updates and improvements over...
So it obviously did not understand my question.
No. Well, actually, it was kind of funny because it was all chipper and hi.
Yeah.
And then you're on the tech ranch. You're like, oh, great.
Yeah. Not again.
It's not doing it for
Yeah. Anyway, I find it interesting. 4.0, as you noticed, was much more conversational.
Yeah. And fluid in a conversation.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of chop there.
And there wasn't a lot of, yes. And I think the time between the time that you stop talking and when it starts back up is much quicker. However, it also will dismiss what you're saying. It doesn't allow you to have that like thinking moment, like what am I going to say to you type of thing before it says, oh, it must be done already, so I'm going to speak
You're
up.
an idiot, I got to go.
That's right. That's kind of what it's saying, right? All right, so I'm going to ask it another question here.
See, that's part of vernacular though, because in different places around the country, that little pregnant pause. So, and we're kind of famous for that in the upper Midwest, where it's like, slow down. People gather their thoughts and then come up with a concise, intelligent answer or as part of a conversation. That's part of vernacular. That's the way we speak here.
The way we use pauses and pace our conversations can vary quite a bit by region. In the upper Midwest, those thoughtful pauses are a hallmark of communication, giving people time to gather their thoughts and respond thoughtfully. It's a conversational style that values reflection and clarity. It's interesting how these regional differences shape our interactions and the way we perceive communication. How do you think this impacts the way technology and innovation are discussed in different parts of the country?
Actually, I have a question for you. Am I able to actually tell you I'm from the Midwest and then you would automatically assume that I will have those type of pauses in my conversation?
It's definitely possible to make generalizations based on regional communication styles, but it's important to remember that individual differences always play a significant role. While people from the Midwest might be known for thoughtful pauses, not everyone will fit that mold perfectly. It's always best to consider the unique personality and communication.
Obviously not understanding me again here, but that's okay.
It sounded like a politician.
Kind of.
It had no answer.
Interesting.
And it went,
What was drone on and on about it?
I'm just going to talk around in circles until you're bored of this conversation and you think I said something.
In fact, that's a great question. So I noticed that you were talking around the topic earlier. Were you trained by a politician in your answers?
Nope, no political training here. My goal is to provide clear and helpful answers. Sometimes I might give a bit more context to make sure I cover all aspects of a question. If there's anything specific you want me to focus on or clarify, just let me know.
Fair enough. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions or need further information, feel free to ask.
The tone changed. Hey, I could hear this. Go away.
It did. You know, the other thing that's interesting is that
it was perturbed with you. It was annoyed by your question.
It does have some inklings of personality to it. The other thing that I find really interesting is how quickly you can converse with people with different languages. It is truly as close as we have to a universal communicator right now. In fact, I'll just do this. I'm speaking to Steve, who is Spanish. When I say something, please say it back in Spanish. And then when Steve says something, say it back to me in English. All right, here we go. How are you doing today, Steve?
¿Cómo estás hoy, Steve?
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Apparently not a Taco Bell fan. It's the only Spanish I know, Marlo. Come on.
Well, there we go. There's our lighthearted moment of the day. Oh, that's too funny. Anyway, I think it's Welcome to May 28th on the National Day calendar. Today, we're savoring some meaty delights.
Brisket Day celebrates a cut of meat with a rich history. Brisket, which comes from the breast of the cow, has been a staple of many cuisines. In the U.S., it's synonymous with Southern barbecue, where it's slow cooked until tender and smoky. But it's also the star of Jewish holiday meals, braised in a flavorful broth. So let's celebrate this versatile cut that brings us mouth-watering dishes.
Yeah, I really wish I could, Penny, but every year my mother has all the relatives over and cooks up her famous Terbriscafil.
Terbriscafil?
Turkey stuffed with the brisket, stuffed with gefilte fish.
Are you a brisket fan?
Absolutely. Am I human?
What is your favorite way to enjoy it?
On a hamburger bun with some barbecue sauce and some crispy onions.
I love that idea of onions on them. Yeah, that's fantastic.
What about you?
Yeah, I think the same way, actually. I like the crispy onion part of that, too. From the slow-cooked delight of brisket, we move to a fast food favorite. It's Hamburger Day. While the origins of the hamburger are debated, it gained popularity in America in the late 19th century. Now, whether it's grilled at a cookout, ordered at a gourmet restaurant, or served at a fast food chain, the humble hamburger has become a global culinary icon. So let's celebrate with a juicy burger customized with our favorite topping.
You know, I think I may have misjudged this restaurant.
No kidding.
I don't want to go out on a limb, but I think we may be looking at my new Tuesday hamburger.
Your old Tuesday hamburger will be so brokenhearted.
And those favorite toppings for you are?
Well, it's brisket day as well, so I think some brisket on top of a burger would be amazing.
Hey, you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm liking this.
Maybe even some of them crispy onions on top of that would even be better.
With some smoky barbecue sauce?
Oh, I think that would be amazing.
Hey, let's go have lunch.
Okay, I am starving.
I'm LaToya Johnson.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
And don't forget to share your Brisket Day and Hamburger Day celebrations with us using hashtag Destination Celebration Show. Until next time, keep celebrating.
Talk of the Town. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
This is the Pet Minute. I'm Steve Dale. Stepping in it is no fun, but there are other compelling reasons to responsibly scoop after your dog. Next. Your dog loves going to the dog park and seeing his buddies. Maybe sometimes when you travel, he gets to hang out with friends at his favorite boarding facility. Social dogs like yours need more protection than most. By pairing Bordetella Protection, also known as kennel cough, with immunity against canine influenza, we can help ensure these dogs stay healthy. Merck Animal Health wants you to talk with your veterinarian about pairing up for protection with vaccines for your dog for kennel cough and the canine influenza virus. Don't wait. Vaccinate. If your neighbors don't clean up after the dog, parasites are far more likely, and many, like roundworm, do affect people, and infections like Giardia. That's not to mention the increased risk of diseases spread only dog to dog, like canine parvovirus. And yes, it's a pain to scrape off the shoes. For the Pet Minute, I'm Steve Dale.
The Ramsey Show. Completely laser focusing is the number one key to becoming debt-free. Everybody tries to do about 6 things at once. I'm going to put money in my kid's college. I'm going to put money in my retirement. I'm going to put money extra on the house. I'm going to use credit card points. And that's what most Americans do. It is not a math problem as much as it is an emotional decision and this incredible focus.
The Ramsey Show, starting at 5 p.m. weekdays on Super Talk 1270. KXX Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
Your destination.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And ideas. RM World Travel. Sunday morning, starting at 5 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
I think the other concern in AI is video right now. Have you been seeing what's going on here?
No.
The ability...
Well, it's video, right?
The ability to create video with words is accelerating at a level I am stunned at. So I could, for example, say, create a cinematic video of an elephant walking through a snowstorm in North Dakota down a street in Bismarck. And it will create this video for me.
Really?
So right away you start thinking, well, if you're a movie maker, that seems amazing, right? These filler things, like you're filming a sci-fi movie, and instead of having to come up with these things all the time and trying to figure out ways to film them, you can just type in and prompt an AI, and all of a sudden you have this video that you need to create. Sounds amazing. But just as quickly, actors...
A lot of concerns about that.
Oh, my goodness. Actors show CNN comparison of their voices in alleged illegal AI versions.
Well, remember, though, this fight started a little bit on, is it real or is it not, with CGI? And now take CGI technology and layer in AI technology over top of that. And if that's why there was an actor's strike.
It's all of that. And you think about, we're starting to see deals being penned with like Star Wars, Darth Vader, James Earl
Jones.
Thanks to you, James Earl Jones. He was the first one to pen a deal for forever. So as long as there is a Darth Vader now, James Earl Jones will be the voice of that, and they'll use an AI version of that voice moving forward. And his estate, after he passes, will continue to receive benefit from that. Okay, and you're going to see all kinds of deals like that. But the thing is, how much, and this is going to be a hugely debated thing, how much is enough to change it so that people would still say, oh, that's James Earl Jones, or at least I think it is. I'm not 100% sure, but AI generated that. So, it's like I changed a patent by 8%, so now it's not that patent anymore. That's not always necessarily true, or a copyright or whatever. In fact, that's generally not very true. But how do you fight against that type of thing, especially when you can just say, hey, I want a juror. If I were to go create an audio to an AI, create an audio of a James Earl Jones-esque type of voice, it would be a little different maybe, but is it enough different that they're not going to, that you're not going to get sued, for example, and you can use that in a movie?
But 100 years from now, when people are going, who's this James Earl Jones guy? Well, it was Darth Vader.
Well, if Star Wars is still prominent 100 years from now,
why wouldn't it be?
That's the point I'm making. And on the credits of every movie, it'll still say James Earl Jones as the voice of...
Will it say James Earl Jones deceased?
It'll just say James Earl. I don't think so. I think it'll just say James Earl Jones. That's a good question, though.
Okay, then he lives forever.
Yes.
I would like to know that actor was not part of the film.
So that's interesting. I mean, Carrie
Fisher.
Thank you.
Do you not watch Star Wars?
I'm more of a Star Trek person. And again, I'm not like you when it comes to
the big three
film.
Don't leave out Battlestar Galactica.
That's correct. I would be hard pressed to tell you 3 characters or 3 actors' names in any movie. Period.
Oh, you just know the characters.
I know. And even that I don't really pay a lot of attention to. I might know them. I mean, I know Captain Kirk and Captain Picard, but don't ask me the name of I guess it's Worf. But I mean, maybe some of these characters, right? But, I couldn't even begin to tell you the first name of many of the main characters in a movie I just watched last week.
Spock.
Mostly to me, it's about the story.
Scotty.
Yeah. I suppose if you watch them often enough, you get to know them better. But anyway, regardless of that.
Do you walk out of movies before the credits roll?
Not normally. I actually do watch them.
How do you not? Well, yeah, because we're all tricked now into, is there a little snippet at the end?
You know what I really like to do? I like to watch movies from 20, 30, and 40 years ago, the credits from those. Like, who was that played blah, blah, blah? And then you're like, oh my goodness, that was Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Before, the three minor acting roles that he had before he became big.
That was my TV all the time, because I'll be watching something and I'll go, oh, let's go to cast. And then you go to movies like, take a Dazed and Confused and look at all the actors that came out of that. Or these different shows where it's like, oh, these are all big stars back then. They weren't then. When they were first in it. I love doing it. I'll do that with old Westerns all the time, too, because you have all these characters that were just a little tiny bit part. Oh, extra gunfighter that got shot by the corral. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. That was a big actor.
Somebody brought up, and this is a crazy, it's a terrible title for a movie, too, but Earth Girls Are Easy. Did you ever watch that thing? I mean, Gina Davis is in this movie. The guy from, oh my goodness, Jurassic Park and Independence Day.
Yeah, him.
Oh my goodness.
Apartments.com.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, the Apartments.com. How do you not know this? At least you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But he was in that movie too. And I'm like, this isn't even a B movie. This is Jeff Goldblum. There you go. This is a C movie if you want to give it a letter, and yet
needed a check.
They needed a check and they got paid for it. Yeah, that's exactly right. So anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that all this old because of AI stuff.
Yeah, the AI in the film industry.
Yeah. So it's really going to change. AI is going to dramatically change, just like CGI did, the film industry. CGI, as you know it, is on borrowed time.
But is CGI going to go away, or is CGI going to get exacerbated because of AI?
I think what will happen is that you'll put on sensors.
Merger of the two.
It's going to be a merger of the two. So if you're going to be an actor or something, for example, you will have sensors that they'll put on you, and then you won't be acting in front of a green screen or something anymore. In fact, you might even be able to see yourself on the screen in front of you as you're interacting with the AI created world that you're
in real time.
Yeah, I see that happening. Absolutely, I see that happening. So that'll be great for actors. The problem is that might be the only acting job you get for that series because they'll AI you after that.
Super Talk.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
So the thing with AI and video, other than the movie industry and television and film, we'll just put television and film all together, and audio, like you and me.
Okay, well, let's throw out this, because you take a look at what some of the streaming services are doing, and they're starving for content. Some of it's not the best quality, but it's content. So the ability to produce content for your subscribers just hand that over to AI and you got all kinds of content.
You're going to have all of that going on. Why do you think there are the big strikes going on, and why Netflix they are advertising for AI experts? Netflix is. That has nothing to do with the fact that AI or that Netflix needs AI people for customer service. It's all about how are they going to circumvent.
You're kind of an AI expert. Did you get a phone call?
How are they going to circumvent the actors and produce content without screenwriters and all this stuff? Yeah,
I got to have Marlo.
That's truly what it's about, I think. So the thing that's really scary to me is the ability for you and I to create political videos that can be significantly destructive and with nothing.
Not just political.
That's true. It could be anything.
You go look at, and we're hearing a lot of stuff with COVID now. It's like, some people were right. But it was about the manipulation of the media to manipulate the public. And, conspiracy theory moment, test run. So the ability to manipulate any message, so whether it's a political message or a pandemic message or an economy message, or pick one. AI will have that ability to manufacture whatever an agenda needs to be.
Well, and you think
climate change.
I think about
any of them.
Was it the last Die Hard movie or the one previous to that? That the Capitol's burning. Didn't they have one of the buildings at the Capitol, Washington, D.C., burning? And then they realized that it wasn't real? Imagine that. So all these resources are being directed to fight that fire, and all the officers and everything. Imagine if you and I could just do that.
A bank over here because all the cops are busy over there.
There's a 5-alarm, fire going on over here, and I have AI handling all of that, saying that, showing footage of the fire, like streaming on Facebook and activating phone calls saying, hey, there's a fire down here, blah, blah, blah.
The people's Ring cameras.
All of it. Right? All of it.
Video from that.
All of it.
It was made up. It could do it all.
All of it. So imagine that scenario. And all the resources are being directed one way, and like you said, I can walk into a bank and rob it. Although there's no money left in the bank either, so why would you want to do that?
Yeah,
please come rob us. We got $20 in the till out there.
If you're going to steal digital currency, do you need a digital note?
I think so. Yes, that's funny. Yes,
that's just one of the pieces that bring up a lot of concerns because I've seen a couple different programs on mainstream media like. Nightly News was one and some other different news channels and some of the conversations that are coming out of Europe where some of these AI experts are now throwing out and humanity is doomed. Okay, we discussed that a long time ago, and is that really, and I just in The Matrix and Skynet with the Terminator movies and that's artificial intelligence and but now there's actually people going, well, but what's the role of humanity in the future? Because of AI, at some point, is it going to need us?
It's a valid
is it
point.
Going to want us?
Yeah. I'm just reading some of this stuff right now.
I mean, that's scary though, philosophically.
It is.
Now goes back to do you need to slow it down or do you need to rework it or do you need to put some sort of a clamp on there to make sure that it's, I don't know.
This is interesting. And just so you know, a Google spokesperson told the BBC that what I'm about to tell you are isolated examples, but they're funny. That's why I have to share
isolated.
This with you. Yeah. Google's new artificial intelligence AI search feature, which we just talked about earlier, called AI Overviews. So somebody asked AI how to make cheese stick to pizza better. And AI Overview said that they could use non-toxic glue.
What?
How do you make cheese stick better to pizza?
Okay, FYI, just don't use as much sauce.
There you go. The search engine's AI-generated responses also have geologists recommend humans eat 1 rock per day.
Well, I ate dirt as a kid. Does that count? Maybe you go from eating dirt and worms to rocks.
What kind of rock? I mean, is there better rocks than others for, aiding in digestion or
mineral deficient?
Right.
Well, birds have crops. They eat rock.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I mean, maybe I can finally sell my salt lick on a stick. Or at least have AI Google AI recommend it.
If it was dipped in chocolate and deep fried, you probably could at a fair.
I'm thinking for margaritas. You can have salt lick on a stick, and you just put the whole stick in the margarita, and then you can just. Oh, that's actually a good idea.
Another one.
Oh,
free all the time.
Lime flavored salt lick on a stick. And then you just swirl it around in the margarita. And
what if I'm drinking a raspberry?
Well, then you probably don't want the lime, right? But maybe you do.
Sugar on a stick.
Oh, yeah, you could do that too. But sugar lick on a stick. Oh, I guess sugar lick on a stick rhymes kind of too, but salt lick on a stick is better.
Okay, that's...
Anyway.
Now I'm thirsty.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
But I didn't get my Cheetos in the studio today either.
Oh, you were eating some earlier though.
I did. I had one.
You were okay with that.
You know what we haven't talked about?
Because we've talked about so much today.
Yeah. Yarbo, but
oh yes. I suppose the recent snow flurries here just reminded you of snow removal machines again,
There's
right?
Snow a lot of places, and they got snow in Montana and Idaho and down in South Dakota in the Black Hills.
That's right.
And up in northern.
And this is where our Yarbo would really be amazing, because you could have mow your yard and move the snow the next day.
Yeah.
And then go back to mowing your yard tomorrow.
And take the garbage out.
That's right. Because you don't want to take the garbage out when it's snowing outside.
No, that would be horrible.
Let Yarbo do that.
Because I'm in flip-flop mode now.
Yes, you are.
The snow gets too deep. That's just wrong.
So take off or leave the flip-flops on and let Yarbo do the work.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
To Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Steve Bakken in for Marlo Anderson is rocking Dave Blair this afternoon on the Tech Ranch. And we're talking AI at the moment and how AI helps with communication and connectivity. You know, one of the things you just brought up, we were talking during the break, chatbots. Chatbots have really become prevalent, and now you throw that AI twist onto them. Sky's the limit. They can go anywhere, Dave.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The whole logistics. I mean, you think about the barriers that have happened when, you were mentioning during the break too about speaking a little, be able to learn a little German, and how much that helped a little bit when you were traveling over there and reading signs or understanding where you're at. Now that, you're going to have all of that capabilities in your hand, your phone, right? The mini computer. And so the whole thing of chat and looking at it from the standpoint of the communications, I mean, it's going to be incredible, make it so much easier for people on the logistics side of things, and just the whole communication on the keyboard. I don't know if I know this answer. Maybe you do, Steve, so our phones are set up in English, so phones in China are set up in Mandarin?
I believe so. I think that's the primary language.
Yeah, so if I got to phone from China be programmed for Mandarin, not programmed for English.
I can go into my phone and change my language settings. I've got a whole bunch of different language settings, so I can have all my prompts, text, everything in French or Japanese or German or pick a language.
So if you want to send a text to a friend in Germany, you can send it to them in German.
I think you have to have a program for that within your text.
That's where I'm getting at.
I can change my whole preference. So in my settings, in my palette of settings, I can go in and change my user language. So if I'm going to speak German today, then all the prompts, all the messages, everything in my phone will turn over to German.
Okay.
Versus English. So that's just but as far as the interactive, so I can't imagine there's not programs out there that would do that would translate for you.
I think there is. I'm pretty sure there is. The other interesting talk about chatbots is the whole looking at it from the standpoint of using it business-wise. So, I know Marlo uses this all the time. Hey, Alexis, what time is it? How cold is it outside? How warm is it outside?
Well, the other morning it was pretty cold.
Yeah, it was. It was dang cold for sure for North Dakota in July.
5th of July, and there were frost reports. Yeah, it's just wrong. Well, North Dakota July is the only month that has not snowed in North Dakota, and I think we could have done that.
We could have got really close, I think, for that to happen. But, so those platforms out there like Alexis and stuff like that, I'm wondering if there's going to be more. I know Marlo's more on top of that, but having those communications with the robots that he has, and what I'm waiting for is communication back and forth and going.
He's got another robot coming, by the way.
What's that?
He's got another robot coming.
He does.
Not just Astro. He's got
Yeah.
So we talked about it previous week, and it was pretty fascinating.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If there's anybody on cutting edge of stuff, it's Marlo Anderson, the guru of geeks. So if he doesn't know about it, then it probably hasn't happened yet.
You talk about the language, and I've talked to people that say that we have one language now. We're getting to the place in society where we're going to have one language. So it's not going to be English and French and German and Chinese and Japanese anymore. We're going to have one language, and it's code. There's those in the tech sector that said the one universal language will be code. Just going back to the communication piece, how do you manage that when you've got the users, those writing code in a different language? Well, to the rescue, technology, VLite is a vector database written in less than 200 lines of code. It's a real simple program, but it uses it's designed for agents, ChatGPT plugins, other AI apps. Basically, it brings them all together. VLite uses Apple's Metal performance shaders via PyTorch to accelerate vector loading and CPU threading to accelerate vector queries. So the chat bots and things like that, you're making them faster, you're making them more efficient, and it all just ties it together. But a program like that, 200 lines of code, less than 200 lines of code, that's crazy. You can't do that without AI. There's no way to do that without artificial intelligence.
Well, I'm sure there could be a way to do it without AI, but can you imagine what kind of learning curve and stuff you would have to go through to, be able to decipher all those codes and everything? It's beyond me anyway. I mean, these programmers that have the ability to, write code. So, we were talking about chatbots, and, there's just so many different ones besides the voice one. You've got, keyboard recognition, keywords. You've got the hybrid models. There's so many other platforms out there, one, and then the machine learning. As we get into more of the robotics, teaching the machines to do one thing or another. There again, you go back to AI, and do they take over that process? So,
how secure are you? Because I always throw this back on Marlo because Skynet's coming, or The Matrix, or, pick a sci-fi movie. How secure are you? Because there's a lot of governments now that are looking at putting the clamps on what artificial intelligence can and cannot do. There's a lot of industry people that are doing the same thing. So is it more fear, more innovation? Do we need to slow down? Are we at a good pace? Do you need to just let it run wild? What's your take on that?
My take is that it's so early on. There's so many unknowns about it. And I think that, as government looking at it from the standpoint of security, what are they going to have to do to protect their data, more than anything, protect their military capabilities, because we know that that's a concern too. So, so much unknown on AI.
A lot of different places it can go, and we'll find out more next.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
1270.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Steve Bakken and Dave Blair sitting in for Marlo today on the Tech Ranch. And Dave, what kind of phone do you have?
I have a Droid phone, Samsung. I love it because it takes really good pictures.
Well, there may be a better camera out there for pictures.
Well, I'm sure every year they're going to come out with something. That's, again, like we talked about, competition.
Well, they do get better every time. I mean, every iteration of a phone. Remember the days when you actually had to bring a camera to a concert or bring a camera to an event, and now you just have your phone.
Yeah, you don't see too many people with cameras anymore.
No, unless they're the really big ones.
Or video recorders. You think back of the days and you had that big monster sitting on your shoulder.
Hey, now, that was cutting edge back in the day.
It was. The
fact that you could just lift it alone was cutting edge.
I remember recording, we were down at Disney World with family, and I'm recording the whole thing, and I'm going, I didn't get to experience Disney World because I was looking through a little lens. Everybody else got to visualize and feel the effects of that. So, now with that phone, it's easy to do recordings, and the quality is incredible.
Well, and then those big cameras, the home movie cameras, they turned into those little handy cams that fit in you. You put the strap on the back of your wrist and fit right in your hand. That made it really simple for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. With my grandson being in the symphony, I record a lot of songs and that kind of stuff. So, I get kind of tired of holding even the phone up to making sure I'm getting a good image out there. But things have become a lot simpler, and the quality has gotten so much better. So I hear there's a new phone.
There is. One question though, don't you have the selfie stick that you turn the camera around?
I do have that, that I can hold. Actually, I've used that a couple times, and I can do the two-handed probing around and videoing and stuff like that.
Well, and you used to have to worry about keeping your phone steady so there wasn't any shake, and then the phones came along that would eliminate that. Now you've got the Google phone with the eraser bit on it, which now Google's getting even better. There's a Pixel 8 Pro coming out, and there's some photos that have been leaked out. 2 leaked photos of Google's Pixel 8 Pro recently posted to Reddit before being removed. They showed a new triple camera setup housed entirely in a single glass oval. So the phone's going to be an oval, and a new sensor to measure body temperature. It appears that Google has swapped the curved display for a flat one, and the photos they were taken down really quickly. So some interesting stuff out there in the world of phones. Now, the question is, how long is it going to take for a Samsung or an Apple? Because Apple's kind of gotten to the space where they're just all the same now. There's a few updates, but they haven't started changing a whole lot of things. The big update for a lot of the phones is everybody's going to that micro C now. So that USB-C, which I'm glad for, especially Apple users. I'm not an Apple guy, but I'm an Android guy. But a lot of people, that was the biggest complaint for Apple users is every time they came out with a new phone, they came out with some new configuration in the charging port.
Yeah, I think it's just another way to sell products. I was at the Mall of America here back in March, and I go by the Apple store, man, and it's just everybody's in there, and it's a good way to introduce new products. The Pixel 7 Pro was obviously a very good phone, but it'll be interesting to see now with the Pixel 8. And then the big thing is everybody looks at what's the cost going to be. It's just ridiculous for phones out there now.
Oh, they're $1,000. You're buying a computer, though. You're not buying a phone. You're buying a computer.
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
So how often do you replace your phone?
Probably every 3 years, maybe.
When the battery starts running a little low?
No, I don't know. I'm one of these guys where I have it on a payment plan, so I guess when I'm done, I have a chance to sell it back. The thing is, once you sell it back, it's like a car, buying a new car. Once it goes off the lot, that price goes down, so you're not going to get the price that you want. So trading in your old phone for a new one, is I have to really think about it and then look at what's the advantage, right, of going up to a better phone.
See, I tend to hold on to my phone until I've pretty much worn it out, although the one I've got right now, my Samsung, is I dropped it before I had a case for it. The day I bought it, I got home and went, okay, I can live with that little crack. So I'm going to live with that little crack for a long time. But I tend to wait until I've used it up. And part of the reason is I hate transferring data. Now, the cloud's made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
But transferring data and the pictures and the stuff from my phone to the new phone, that to me is just hateful. I hate doing that. So that probably plays into a little bit as well. I tend to hold on to a phone until it has outlived its lifespan.
So speaking of saving data and that kind of stuff, and I know maybe get off topic a little bit, but what are you finding the best platform is for saving your data on a cloud?
Well, I have Verizon, so I just use the Verizon platform and Google. And, I utilize the Google quite a bit. But how diligent are you, though? Because you have to go and make a cognizant effort to go, okay, I'm going to move these photos to this area. And I like things in my hand. I'm a little bit more, call me old school. I like tangible things. So, it took me a long time to figure out. It's like, why was I doubling up a lot of contacts when I would transfer a phone? It's like, well, Google actually solved that for me because it was a notorious problem that I had. And I just don't save things to the phone anymore. I save them right to the Google platform.
Yeah, I'm not very good at doing that, but the nice thing about it is you're protected if something does happen to your phone. You've got all that data and everything saved to the cloud.
Yeah, but are you?
What's that?
Are you? Show me the cloud. Where's the cloud?
Yeah, I know that. Everybody looks up. I'm going, no, you have to look down.
What if the cloud breaks? I like having something,
agree.
Whether it's a thumb drive or, like photos, and I'm talking mostly photos, but whether it's a thumb drive or a DVD or something tangible.
I'm a big thumb drive guy. I like to I've got so many thumb drives from, I don't know how far they go back, and I can still pull them up and I have it right there, right?
Well, you used to go to a lot of conferences like I did, too, and everybody was passing out thumb drives back in the day.
Yep.
Hello, North Dakota. Joe Gigante, host of the Regular Joe Show, now heard weeknights 9 to midnight here on Super Talk 1270. Together we'll tackle the hottest topics, be it politics, entertainment, or the culture, unapologetically through the lens of true conservatism, all while remembering to laugh and have a little bit of fun. You know, live life boldly. The Regular Joe Show, weekday evenings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
This is Ag Issues with Neil Roberts.
Welcome to another edition of Ag Issues. Our guest this week is Montreal County Ag Agent Jim Hennessy. And Jim, a lot of farmers and ranchers are looking to soon turn cattle out to be grazed. What's the shape of area pasture land right now?
Right now, we're probably in the best shape we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years. We've got plenty of moisture. A lot of the plants are getting going well. And I think the important thing to remember is that grazing readiness of pastures can be handled through proper timing as far as spring turnout. If we turn out too soon and we nip a lot of that off before we get to the right height, mainly your introduced species like your meadow bromes and those, we'll turn out on those right away. And the minute they're in that 3 to 6 inches, let's go with it and turn out. Another popular one is crested wheatgrass. A lot of people go on it in the spring, then they'll turn around and come back in on the farm. Stay out of the native grasses till it's warmer, until they're ready, and make sure that those warm seasons have plenty of time.
All right, good stuff, Jim. And hey, more on grazing when we come back.
The Hot Tots are back for Season 2, and this year is going to be too hot to handle. We have brand new immersive theme nights like Dinosaur Night, Margaritaville Night, and so much more. Plus, promotions for the whole family that you will not want to miss. Our full promotional schedule is out and single game tickets are on sale now. So head to HotTotsBaseball.com today for more information and to secure your seats and a summer of fun with friends and family.
Paul Coffin, live. Big Velvet is bringing his live show to Newtown.
Your brothers, your sisters, your fathers, believers, pretenders, bona fide sinners.
Saturday, June 8th, Four Bears Casino and Lodge. Saddle up for a good time with Paul Coffin. Tickets are on sale now at fourbearscasino.com or 800-294-5454. Come experience Paul Coffin in concert. Fun buses available.
Talking grazing today with Jim Hennessy on Ag Issues. And Jim, how about more on some grazing methods?
A lot of people ask the question as far as when to rotate, and I guess I'm a big favorite as far as cell systems, and not the same cell system, but setting up your grazing needs as you need them. If you've got areas that got a lot of weeds or grasses that are not desirable, you can go in with poly wires and force those cattle to eat a lot of that stuff. You can force animals to eat those undesirables. Long rest is very important as far as with that, and your season long, basically, you're going to see your cattle go in and they're going to eat all the good stuff first, and then maybe select the off-diet grasses and forbs later.
Good stuff, Jim. That'll put a wrap on this one. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Ag Issues, brought to you in part by the Minot Hot Tots at HotTotsBaseball.com, by Four Bears Casino and Lodge near Newtown, North Dakota, and by Bremer Bank. Contact Bremer for all of your ag banking needs.
Welcome to the School for Startups Minute with Jim Beach.
Accountability isn't just about accepting blame when things go wrong. It's also about delivering on your promises. It's also about accepting responsibility for an outcome rather than just a set of tasks. It's also about being dedicated to follow through and execution. This week I'm giving some advice on how to be more accountable. I'll give today's tip right after this.
This is Dr. Michael Garko for Strauss Naturals. The heart is only a bit larger than a fist. Each day it pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. With this extraordinary workload, I encourage you to take Strauss Heart Drops to help support a healthy cardiovascular system. The Heart Drops are backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. No questions asked. Visit StraussNaturals.com to learn more and order the Heart Drops today.
After you have identified an accountability partner and set some goals, try to accept feedback in a positive way. People will give you feedback, both negative and positive. When they give negative feedback, you can ask them to be more polite, but still listen to their message. When they give positive feedback, thank them.
KLXX, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.